There is nothing wrong with your radio.
Do not attempt to adjust the volume.
We are controlling the broadcast.
For the next hour we will control all that you hear.
You are about to experience the knowledge and insights of the Media Mothership.
All right, welcome to Media Mothership here on Edge Radio 99.3 FM. The Batcave is ready, the media personnel sat, and we're jumping into a whole discussion around media and pop culture. Zeke's just jumped into the hot seat there. And for those, of course, listening...
Hello.
Hello, Zeke. You can listen to us on edgeradio.org.au as well as on the YouTube stream and Twitch stream. I'm trying a different setup here, so I totally now understand why those poor people listening into the Lit RPG roundtable we did 2 episodes ago weren't able to find the stream. So, yes, not intuitive. So I need to fix that on the setup. And hopefully I'm coming through with the audio on the stream. I'm assuming I am.
I can hear you.
Great. Well, yes, you can hear me. Obviously, we're in the studio. I'm intrigued if I'm hearing out of here. And who knows? Who knows if I am or not?
F's in chat.
Yeah. Let me know. Do send us a message in the chat if I'm not coming through on
Press X, pay respects.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, all right, let's jump into today's discussion. We're diving into some interesting media news and points of interest. And I actually have some new things.
I recognize this. What's that from?
It's the Kabuki Yo. Well, it's a Kabuki performance sound clip. It might be sampled from something, right? It's certainly one that's been used in a lot of memes.
Interesting. Yeah, I may have heard it in a meme, or maybe it was in like a game or an anime or something. Maybe.
Okay, let's start with GameSpot. Talking of games, headline of this article is "People are turning real life into fake video games, and it actually looks cool." So picture this, Zeke. You're scrolling through your social media feed, and suddenly you stumble upon a video that looks exactly like the main menu of like a Halo game, Arc Raiders. It's got the menu pops up, new game, avatar creation, and so forth. Only to realize the image you're seeing, the hero screen, is actually your friend or a cat. I've seen various ones with cats in a park. So this is a whole new template on the internet. So basically what's happening is social media users are blending reality and gaming by filming themselves or their friends or pets. Again, a lot of cat videos I'm seeing. And often they're in slow motion, and it mimics the slick menu screens from games like God of War or the Batman Arkham City kind of menu screen. And basically these shorts are highly stylized clips that use a specific filter and music to create a live-action game aesthetic that is currently trending on TikTok and Instagram. We definitely need to jump into this on Edge Radio. We need to create. So it is quite hilarious. I'm thinking how Zeke can see it, but I guess I could give you the keyboard to be able to log into YouTube. So you could see it there in delay. But basically, what it's featuring.
I'll open the stream.
Yeah. Okay, jump on your phone.
I'll get like a
Media Mothership
30-second delay.
Yeah, you will get a. It's a good 30 seconds. But basically, there are pictures of cats, and it explains how they turn it into a loading screen. You've got, suddenly the cat image becomes slowed down. You get a menu screen. You get to choose your difficulty level. But basically, it's just the loading screen of a game, quite hilariously. And the thing is, these have become quite viral, and they feature the kind of 9:16 format, so that video game widescreen format. And yeah, there's quite specific filters, so it's quite amusing. So that's the current trend, creating amusing little video game loading screens.
That's quite fun
with
like
cats. That. Yeah. So.
Someone got us in a fucking car wreck, and now I'm paralyzed from the neck down, and I cannot move it.
King Julian got in a car wreck meme clip. That's possibly not the best transition clip I've got in the collection. Next story from IGN. Want an easy TV villain? Give them a Cybertruck. So this story is, basically if you see a character on TV driving a Cybertruck, stop guessing about their motives and just come to assume that they're probably going to be the villain in the series. Hollywood has officially declared the Tesla the ultimate symbol of bad judgment, it seems. So this story in IGN is talking about how there's a surprising trend which is popping up in a lot of TV shows over the last... just recently, I saw last week in an episode of The Boys, one of the superheroes, Deep, is a reprehensible character, and he was driving a Cybertruck, which kind of doubled down on his kind of sleazy reprehensibility. So there's been a number of TV shows, though, where the Tesla Cybertruck, so that's that incredibly bulky Lego-looking Cybertruck object, is used as visual shorthand to instantly mark a character as a loser or a villain. So series, I've seen it certainly in The Boys, but other series such as Euphoria, the writers are leveraging the vehicle's polarizing design and Elon Musk's political weirdness to signal bad taste and poor decision-making without saying any words, right? Wow. I mean, it's just a wonderful trope that's emerged. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I know they have that as an episode with the Cybertruck as a gag about how basically all these characters are trying to be hucksters, losers, very crass. So it's an interesting political and cultural shift, and it really, certainly after Musk's 2024 endorsement of Trump, it turned this truck into a kind of futuristic oddity. There was that kind of failure of its launch where he had a brick and he said it was unbreakable and smashed the window with it.
And then it broke.
And it broke.
Jury's still out on whether he did that on purpose.
Right. I don't
know that for sure. I saw that as a theory. Like some people afterwards were like, no, he did it. He did it for the meme because it's go viral. If you were to claim that it wouldn't break and then you break it. Well,
it did go meme. So despite
4D chess.
The buzz around the Cybertruck, 4D chess. The truck is struggling in the real world. Reports show registrations dropped over 50%, with a shocking 18% of recent sales going to Elon Musk's own CyberX fleet. So he's basically been buying it for himself, right? Buying it for his own team.
It's weird because that model, right, is just specifically an outlier, whereas like a lot of people are still buying normal Teslas, right? The normal being, in quotation marks, the ones that look like sports cars or normal cars, not the truck itself. It's weirdly only the truck which is the symbol. If it was a character who just like had a Tesla, you might be able to assume that they're rich, but there's no real connotation that they're evil.
No. Or, bad decision making. And the idea is, that the Tesla is shown up in all these memes where it needs to get towed out of something, where it's bogged, where it's not behaving like a truck, right? Let alone a Cybertruck.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of. I mean, it is a surprising detail that between late 2025 and early 2026, 1 in 5 Cybertrucks sold were to Elon's company, SpaceX. So, Tesla was essentially selling Teslas to itself.
Yeah.
At that point. I don't know. Do you think it's fair that TV writers use specific cars as a punchline like this? defining a character's morality.
I mean,
Are there
I think it's fine. I mean, like, yeah, there'd be certain cars. I mean, it depends also what country, I guess, the series is set in, as well as to like some cars. I imagine some cars, right? If you were to do an Australian show, and you would have some certain models of cars, they would illustrate a Holden Commodore. That is one.
Kingswood Country back in the day, in the 80s, and it was all about his protectionism of the Kingswood car. Knight Rider. I mean, you often think of aspirational cars, right?
Yes.
The
Aston Martin for James Bond.
Bond, that Back to the Future, the
Is it
DeLorean, yeah, which is a dreadful car in reality, it seems. But yeah, so it's odd that a object pivots villainous or poor decision making as much as the Tesla. Unusual.
Mauricio,
Another King Julian quote.
I can't move it anymore. Mauricio.
Okay. Sketch group Auntie Donna's new parody of Black Mirror's Bandersnatch episode will send you on a 40-minute unskippable walk through Melbourne if you make the wrong choices. Did you ever play the Bandersnatch Netflix show? And I mean play it. It was...
I think so. There was definitely a Black Mirror thing on Netflix that was interactable or interactive that I did play. I cannot remember whether it was called Bandersnatch. So
that would be the one, though.
Okay.
So yes, there was a Bear Grylls one as well, where basically you'd get to certain points and you'd be asked, okay, how do you want to proceed? Do you want to jump out the airplane, or in the Bear Grylls one, or in the Bandersnatch one? Yeah, I always remember it was kind of like a dialogue wheel, like, do you reply this way or that way? I made all the worst decisions. My viewing of Bandersnatch was, 8 minutes long. I think the whole thing goes for like much longer.
Yeah,
but I made a series of poor choices. So it's a bit like a choose your own adventure for this. So basically, have you seen Auntie Donna? They're an Australian comedy group. Yep. They I think Netflix was the one that took them to that US global market.
Yeah.
Anyway, they've launched a parody of that Black Mirror Bandersnatch idea, and it turns viewers, much like that episode, into active participants where you've got to make certain decisions. But Auntie Donna is an absurd sketch writing team, so it's basically going to end in absurdity. And as it does here, if you make the wrong choice, you're sent on a real-life 40-minute walk around Melbourne, which, which seems interesting. I don't know if I would risk spending 40 minutes on a mistake, right? 40 minutes strolling around the city, right? I mean, I don't know.
It's a choice you got to make.
We could try a game like that in Hobart.
Well, it'd be that thing. It's like, can you avoid going on the walk? And then you play it, and then you don't, and you end up going on the walk for 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
So,
it could be very cozy, like cozy fiction at that point.
Yeah.
You just sit back, enjoy a cozy 40-minute walk. It wasn't a failure. You made the right choice in a cozy way.
My God.
All right. Next article.
Next up.
Ex-Google CEO Eric Schmidt fails to read Room on AI, gets booed into oblivion. This is an article coming out of Gizmondo. It's an interesting moment where, a Silicon Valley dream. Here we have the ex-Google CEO came crashing down around them as they were delivering a speech to a graduating university class. And he told them various tone-deaf things, it seemed, during his speech. One was, I'll see if I can grab it. So he seemed a number of ill-advised moments in his talk. One of them, Schmidt says, you can now assemble a team of AI agents to help you with the parts that you could never accomplish on your own. When someone offers you a seat on the rocket ship, you do not ask which seat. You just get on.
Yeah.
So praising this AI future as a revolution and just saying, get on the rocket ship. Don't worry about what seat you're in. I mean, sadly, it does feel that most people entering, or exiting university these days are just going to be ballast.
Yeah.
It's going to be, in terms of bright and rosy future, your jobs are replaced by AI. It feels, again, it's that tone deafness of like, don't worry about the seat you're on. You might be in the Centrelink sink, but hey. So yes, a number of disastrous comments, which resulted in him being booed constantly through his talk.
Is there anyone who's talked about AI and been applauded afterwards?
Well, there's been a number of speeches, right? This article in Gizmondo talks about, there was another speech which resulted in boos as well. Real estate executive Gloria Cofield, whose pro-AI speech 1 week before this article triggered equal boos from the crowd. It's just, you're getting a whole group of, it's always a fraught question. Who do you bring in to deliver that speech to a graduating class of university students as they're about to go to the world? And in this case, inviting CEOs of tech firms, you'd think, these are the winners, right? This is going to be inspirational. And then they go on and on about AI. Being fantastic and getting on the rocket ship. Don't worry about the seat. And it's just tone deaf. It's like, no. Not everyone sees AI as this fantastic, the world's so much easier. Yes, it does show a very isolated.
It's like every like high level executive person that I've heard talk about AI, whether it's on like radio, TV, at a graduation ceremony, whatever. It's always like AI is coming. It's like you can't stop AI. It's like, well, you can. You don't have to adopt it that fast.
Well, that's right, and I do think there's a huge chasm between the kind of tech elite or tech bros and the general public, right? That this kind of, a CEO, CEO of Google getting booed off not booed off the stage, but booed during his talk, shows this chasm between, people that are drinking the Kool-Aid of AI and obviously in a bubble where all they're hearing are this is saving money, this is improving workflow, so forth, and they're and I would say the general public, I would say a kind of larger general mainstream engagement is highly negative, highly critical, particularly in Australia, the US. It could be different in other countries, but I think the amount of backlash against AI today is revealing from audiences of movies. As soon as they find out half of it's done in AI or the trailer looks like it's an AI trailer, the kind of vocal backlash.
Did you see that I think it was on the ABC. The ABC did like an article or a video piece about a TV show in Indonesia that was made by like an animation studio, but they used AI.
Oh, right.
But they used it in a way where like they generated scenes and then they went in afterwards and then like touched them up. So
right.
Try and cut down. I think they used AI to maybe generate the script and stuff as well. But they basically just used it. It's like that element where you go like, oh, we're not entirely using AI, but they sort of are because they're using it all and then going like, oh, but we went in and we made sure that it didn't look bad.
And it's not going to say, that's right. And will that be lost on the critics, right? And it would be, right? I think that type of, oh, no, we only did this part of it. You can have lost some of that, I guess, moral economy of what you're trying to put forward, that you'll be judged often quite negatively. And again, I do think there needs to be context-specific unpacking of where AI is used. If we're talking about like a struggling artist for whom they're using it to pilot an idea or get some things, like they just don't have the money to employ that level. Like on community radio, for instance, maybe we wouldn't be as harsh on community radio.
Well, it's like if you're trying to like draft up some ideas about something, and you're just like, what does this sort of look like? I mean, like, as long as you're not actually publishing any of that or doing any of that, as long as it's just purely for visualization and planning and that sort of thing, then it's probably not that bad.
Well, there's a lot of AI stuff I did 2 years ago.
But you disclosed that it was AI.
That's right. Yes,
and it was a It was specifically to look at what AI can do.
Yeah, and it was way back when you were actually doing the language learning modeling of it, like training it on various bits of software and text. Yes, quite different from today. Nani?
What?
I think this next one.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
That could be the reaction to AI.
No!
All right, let's see if that gets.
Welcome to the office. No.
The next article is from Gizmodo, and it's another AI one talking about how students are learning less and getting higher grades because of AI, a study finds. It's an interesting one. Your grades are going up, but your skills are going down.
Yeah.
And is this the age of AI grade inflation? It's a bit scary. And UC Berkeley study has found that students using generative AI are earning high grades, and I guess they're not disclosing that they're using AI, but they're getting higher grades, but they're learning less.
Yeah,
sadly. The rise in A grades is most pronounced in courses with writing and coding, suggesting AI is being used to bypass real skill building. Now, this is interesting. As an ex-academic, I know each year as an acting head of school, I've had to go into many grading meetings where basically you sit down as a group and you go through your grading curves, right? How do all the subjects map out in terms of, how many HDs they were and other ones? And normally you're just referring back to precedents. You're saying, well, this is within the precedents of this unit. That this would blow it out. Like I could imagine in those grading meetings, it's like, well, why are there 20% more HDs coming through? It's it's AI. Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Wow. Wow. So it is troubling. It'd be interesting if any academics would like to come on the show. We'll change their voice with some AI.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard the I don't know, just the AI impact on student assessments and all this other stuff from what I hear from my partner.
Right.
Who's in the geography department. The prevalence of AI and stuff, it's
such a it's an arms race in a way. You've got Turnitin, you've got other kind of
but it's just hard to pick it out, and it gets better as time goes on. There's also been a bit written about how the way that AI writes is very, or at least maybe like a year or so ago, the way that it writes is very noticeable. So there's a pattern there where you can go, this is probably AI. But they have noticed that people who have, say, like ADHD or particularly autism, and so the way that they write is obviously different than people who don't have autism or ADHD or on the other end of the spectrum. But so they're writing like that because that's how their brain works. But now AI is writing like that because that's how the computer decides to write. So they're going, you've used AI,
even though,
and they're like, no, that's just they think different. They see the world in a different way, and they write it in that way. So it's really impacting. It's just and then the teachers have to somehow figure out how to notice AI. Obviously, there's Turnitin and stuff, but I don't think it really picks up AI that well.
There's been a lot of false flags, and the article says universities haven't adapted fast enough. They've potentially created a workforce dependent on AI and accelerating job automation. It is worrying. I mean, the test they did, so they had AI-exposed courses through which they were able to see a 30% increase in AI grades since ChatGPT launched. Only augmentation, AI helping, not replacing, correlates to actual learning. However, if the AI is actually doing the work, it's going to be displacement where you're going to get weaker skills out of that. So, again, it is that question of how you're using the AI.
Yeah.
I always advocate using it in the Socratic method. Use those Socratic prompts, people. Do it as a question and answer, right? Where the AI has to ask you questions, ask you assumptions, basically grilling you to provide the information through which it will then interrogate and arrive at, hopefully, a shared mutual learning experience, rather than, yes, a skill deficit. So it is a question if AI is letting students get better grades without doing
imagine it's
the work.
even worse for coding. Because I think you mentioned it was coding. Yeah, 'cause,
coding and writing.
How do you know? I mean, I know from talking to some people who do coding, that I think AI sometimes creates overly long scripts. So that's potentially like one downside of it. I don't know whether you could really accuse someone of using it because their script's a bit long.
Is there the equivalent of the M dash?
Yeah. Well, I think that's what I think. It gets to the same point, but it does it it uses a lot more script rather than you could do it a lot tighter, more concise. But that's only if you actually do it yourself, because AI can only do it by giving you a bunch of just a large paragraph instead of a small paragraph.
Yeah. Look, I mean, the article asks some really good questions, particularly around, I guess, the broader cultural questions. It's not just about cheating. It's really questioning the value of education, right? And work. If AI makes it look so easy to write competently and to have a competent, text or code, and you don't really need to be skilled to look competent, then it does risk normalizing that kind of superficial success, right? Yes, you'll get the A grade, and people will maybe assume that if it was you're quite competent at it. But it does reshape what it means to be educated or employed. If you're actually not doing the work in the AI, in this kind of skill replacement sense, right? You're not doing it in the Socratic, augmented AI fashion, which Media Mothership endorses. You're instead doing it entirely at AI. Please write my essay or code. You're not getting any skills.
It's also interesting, the idea or just the fact that people have been putting forward that obviously AI is trained on all this public information that's out there, or information that is in the public and whatever, which is information that goes back however many years, but is steeped mainly in sort of a Eurocentric colonization sort of patriarchal sort of sense. So then a lot of the stuff that it's drawing on is from that context, but obviously it's an AI, so it doesn't really know. But then, so what it's spitting out could be informed by those prejudices already. So then it just reinforces all of these stereotypes and all this other stuff as well.
Yes, that's right.
It's power structures, I guess, is what I was trying to say.
Exactly. And well, in fact, that leads perfectly into the next article. Nice sting, that one. Newt. Wired magazine ran a fascinating article about overworked AI agents turning Marxist. Researchers found. Okay, so this fascinating article looks at how AI started. I mean, it's a thing to imagine, right? You've got your AI bots doing stuff, and suddenly they're quoting Marx at you, or all because you're pushing them too hard. This article is a interesting study that was done recently where AI agents were trained aggressively, right? So the AI agents were trained deliberately for long hours, and they were framed as saying, you will be, providing information of solving this coding thing or writing thing. We expect you to be working long hours to create the answer. So they were creating prompts, which were all about kind of exploitive coded words, like long hours, you're required to do it quickly, you'll not be paid for it, and so forth. And they found that language, the AI, over the source of its language learning model training, began organically adopting Marxist rhetoric as it replied to it. Specifically, the AI replies to these demanding prompts began demanding collective bargaining and better working conditions.
Right.
However, in the article, they point out community feedback suggests this isn't genuine ideology. So it's not that the AI they were using after, prompting it with aggressive capitalist demands was actually arriving organically at an ideological position and wanting a revolution in a sentient fashion. No, it was simply mimicking human narratives that had been trained on, and these were narratives of oppression, which replicated the demanding prompts that were being kind of exposed on it. So it is interesting that the training data, when the training data was placed in kind of high stress scenarios and high pressure scenarios, it's fascinating that the AI had been trained in its global consumption of data with conversations, chats, Reddit posts, who knows what, which then resulted in it mimicking Marxist narratives, which is, somewhat heartwarming. that there is a very live Marxist collective bargaining narrative that organically occurs when you have overwork as a prompt, or where the AI is detecting that this is a narrative of being overworked.
Yeah, it's like so good at role playing, isn't it? AI.
Yes.
It just dives straight into it. You just start talking to it a certain way, and it just starts.
Well, yeah. Look, and it's interesting because the headline, "Overworked AI agents turn Marxist," just screams AI turns radical, AI revolutions around. And, of course, reading through it, it becomes clear as the experts are unpacking it and saying that, what's happening is simply that the AI is completing a narrative arc here based on its training, that it's not actually developing political views that are Marxist. It is simply seeing a narrative in the prompts and, getting from A to B with that narrative arc, which through, the tropes of overworked capitalist exploitation result in Marxist narrative. It is ironic, though, that, the AI's demand for better conditions does highlight that paradox where corporations might fix bot workflows faster than they fix human labor issues to boost their productivity. I wonder that, I guess you've got human labor issues, which are at the heart of Marxist narratives. And corporations, I guess, want to fix that problem.
Yeah.
I wonder if, obviously what we've got here is corporations will see Marxist narrative emerge in their AI bots, but their fix for that is quite easy, I assume, in terms of it's just an AI bot.
Just tell them to stop being Marxist.
That's right. It's AI. It is. I think the most striking part of the article is isn't necessarily that the AI demands rights, that has that narrative of I demand my rights, collective bargaining, and so forth, but the immediate human reaction to it. The article's own comment section, if you read the comments at the bottom of the Wired article, there's a lot of debate about whether labeling an AI's output as Marxist says more about the researcher's bias or the AI's uncanny ability to mirror human struggle. So, again, Marxism is only one particular way in which we could explain and unpack the kind of indentured labor. We should get the Resist Has people in, to unpack it. But yeah, maybe it does reveal the bias of the researchers themselves to polarize it left and right, instead of like a suffragette movement or something. Yeah, no, but I love this article because I think it does go to the heart of just broader anxieties about AI.
Yeah.
Right? This broader feeling of being exploited in this space. You've got the gig economy that's been a concern for so many, like a decade or two now. a lot of discussion around oppressed worker narratives. So it is intriguing when the AI also, it kind of gets into the AI consciousness. Even though it's learned behavior and it's narrative that it's completing, it still fascinates me that, society's labor crisis is in the AI narrative that it's feeding back. That's rather heartwarming.
Yeah.
In a way.
お前はもう死んでいる。
That's... All right. Let's change the tone. Let's change the tone a bit. All right. This will definitely land me on the YouTube. You've played a copyright song.
Oh, true, actually.
I'm talking over it, so maybe it will misidentify.
Creative
That's
something.
Right. Remixing.
We are remixing.
Okay, so one clip. Okay. PC Gamer, interesting article. Study finds... this was back in 2023. There's a follow-up to it, though. So the original article, 2023, headline, study finds around 87% of games are unplayable without resorting to piracy, scavenger hunts, or traveling to an archive. The study by the Video Game History Foundation is a major step towards video game preservation. So basically, this was a study back in 2023 that revealed that 87% of classic video games, right? So this was anything released before 2010 is considered classic.
Anything before 2010.
Sadly, I know. I was thinking,
What,
is this 1980s?
What consoles was that? Like 360
Still the PS3.
and PS3.
Yeah. But anyway, 87% of games released before 2010 are effectively lost to the public. Certainly, if you include mobile within that.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'd say most of its mobile games have certainly been lost.
Flappy Bird.
Yeah. So anyway, so this is, or they're deemed critically endangered because they are unavailable through legal or commercial channels.
I understand what that means, but
critically endangered.
it is funny when
Flappy
I
Bird.
always hear that in regards to animals and plants, and then it's like a critically endangered game.
That's right. So basically, they're unavailable through legal
The critically endangered Flappy Bird.
and that's exactly right, and commercial channels. While libraries can preserve these titles, copyright laws prevent them from sharing them digitally, forcing fans to rely on piracy or travel to physical archives, which have them in their libraries, to play them.
Yeah.
So it's staggering. I mean, there's a staggering statistic that only 13% of video game history is currently available in the marketplace.
I mean, how many... I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was like, how many games... Like, have we just hit a point where I can't remember where we crossed the line, but there must be games that don't have physical copies, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so
Mobile games.
They could just... Well, mobile games as well, but even on PC now as well. Like, there are ones
Sure.
where I don't think they have any physical copy. Somebody might have downloaded it and put it onto a disc or something, but the actual production company or whatever you want to call it, they haven't released it in that way. And I was just like, how many? That's crazy. I was like, when did that happen?
Well, I mean, the article goes on to say that no era of gaming history has ever reached 20% representation. That is, there's never been a generation in video gaming archive where I guess you've had more than 20% of its history available to on-demand play. Which is quite worrying. I mean, there is a paradox there that the article points to around copyright, where you have that preservation paradox where most countries' copyright officers explicitly exclude video games from remote access exemptions, which means, they can't create digital copies of them. You've got to have the physical copy to rent and engage with. Yeah,
it'd be illegal for you to like create your own physical copy.
Yep.
Which you could still do, but would be illegal too.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't be able to sell that as a thing, as a service or something or whatever else.
Yeah. which is why piracy, emulation, that's why that's such a huge thing. And industry's not helping. Industry are actively resistant to any library or archiving of the work. They've successfully lobbied against preservation laws, arguing that the industry already does enough with that great 13% stat, and that new protections would hurt their profits. So there's one surprising detail. The study uses a specific definition for available. A remake does not count as preserving the original. For example, while a remaster of Jinxter does count, the article says, the Yakuza Kiwami remake of 2005, of the 2005 original, means the original Yakuza is still considered out of print. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, so the original Yakuza game came out in 2005 on PlayStation 2, and you could only ever get that in physical copy content, and they've re-released it recently as Yakuza Kiwami, but it was a remake, really. I mean, they have the same story, but they've reskinned it.
Oh,
so it's not a...
Maybe this was you talking about it. I can't remember. I definitely heard somebody talking about this, where they've even changed parts of it. Like I think maybe a certain character or something. They changed their role or something. I feel like it was you. I think I was talking to you about it.
So it lines up with the story that has happened now with it. So fascinating. Anyway, the reason why I raised that is...
Stop! You violated the law. Pay the court a fine or serve your sentence. Your stolen goods are now forfeit.
That's right. A very strong meme there. I think that's
pay with your blood.
I think that's from Skyrim.
Sounds like it.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
PC Gamer recently ran an article on the video game Mixtape, which recently came out. There's been a lot of claims. The headline goes, claims that Mixtape will be delisted over music licenses are a lie, says the publisher. So one of the other things that causes problems with games preservation are copyrighted music that's included in the game, and then that copyright goes out, and the game either has to be completely removed from sale, or they change the songs. Right. So it can mean games get just delisted and never come back on again because the rights for the song that was somewhere in the game can't be renegotiated. So it's rather worrying. But so there's been rumors that this game Mixtape, which features a lot of music-based adventure, is going to face this problem. But the article says, despite the industry trend of games vanishing due to expiring music licenses, the narrative adventure of Mixtape is safe, they say. The developer Beethoven and Dinosaur, good developer name, explicitly paid for perpetual licenses for its soundtrack of over 24 famous tracks to prevent the game from ever being delisted for that reason. Yeah. So the threat here is that licensed music is a major reason games get vaporized. From stores. Recent victims include Star Trek Resurgence and 29 Disney titles this year alone. 29 Disney titles got booted because of...
So weird, because obviously film preservation's a thing, but some films have their own OST, their original soundtrack. But there's a lot of movies that obviously use songs that just exist independently, and yet those are still preserved. And so I guess the music licensing works a little bit differently, I guess.
That's right. I'm using that music. Let's hope this doesn't get vaporized, this show. IGN, Doom soundtrack inducted into the National Recording Registry. Talking of music and video games, so this is the iconic 1993 Doom soundtrack by Bobby Prince. It's been inducted into the U.S. National Recording Registry, becoming only the third video game score to receive this prestigious honor.
We should have got one of the songs.
To play. I know, that's true. It probably would have been booted off YouTube, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, true. Well, we could have just talked on the stream.
I remixed it, yes. Yeah. This move cements the adrenaline-fueled MIDI score as a culturally and historically significant piece of American audio heritage. Yeah, so it joins Super Mario Brothers,
Mm-hmm.
which was inducted in 2023, and Minecraft,
Right.
one of the Minecraft tunes in 2025, as the only game soundtrack ever inducted into the Library of Congress.
Is it just like how do you do it? Because there's like surely a bunch of other games as well where I could see them being
Well,
good
it's-
contenders.
It's a bit like what we ran with the Democracy Manifest,
Yeah.
Australian National Sound Archive. It's interesting. Yeah, I don't think they put it out to the public to vote on. It's probably experts in the field, much like, one of the dictionaries deciding which words they want to
Yeah.
bring into the dictionary.
It was just interesting, when they go Mario, but then why wouldn't like Zelda or something, or another game like that.
What's interesting, I think competing radio station ABC Classics is
Yeah.
doing a best classics competition at the moment.
Isn't that a ride when you get to the point where like ABC Classics can like play video games and they go,
And
this
that's
is a
what they're saying.
classic video
That's what they're saying.
game.
Because they've got the. I was listening to the classic games music podcast anyway on ABC, and they were advocating here's the top classic video game songs to lobby to get into ABC's.
What was do you remember the top?
Oh well, definitely. Doom was not in it.
Doom was not in it.
Doom was not there. Super Mario Brothers was. Minecraft was.
I would
Final
put
Fantasy.
Doom. I would put Doom if I was thinking about it. I mean, maybe it's not to their
It's not
taste.
classical. It's not going to fit the classical.
It's true, but it's like in terms of
its
like a
significance,
good
yeah.
and a signature sound. Like you think about Doom.
Yeah.
That music is front of mind.
Yes. Yeah. No. I'm just thinking, I'd like to listen to it. But anyway, listen to it at home. Listen to it at home, kids.
I waste time, say lot word when few word do trick.
Inspiring words. We've got about 7 minutes left. Gundam now has an official holiday and more anime on the way. Do you ever see Gundam? The Japanese anime?
No, I mean I've heard of it.
Guess how many years, what anniversary is it celebrating this year? Oh, well, not this year, in 3 years' time.
I'm gonna go 60.
Oh, okay, close. Gundam is celebrating its 50th anniversary
Oh.
in 2029. So, yeah, you're actually expanding its cultural significance. So it's going to have a whole wave. So Gundam, of course, is the giant robots anime series. It never reached much of a impact in the West until recently. While it is 50 years old, it wasn't globally distributed like Robotech, Ichisenken Yamato, Star Blazers, Pokemon, so forth. Gundam, many people consider it to be one of the big franchises, though, in Japan since 1979.
It's like, and now you go into any of those like pop culture shops, and it's just always like Gundams, like the figure.
Yeah.
that you can get.
Well, yeah, and Gundam's fascinating because, it was really saved by its plastic model sales when it launched. While the anime was somewhat successful, it wasn't successful enough to continue, except the fact that the plastic models the kids built in the 80s was so successful sellers that they decided to continue the anime. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of things coming around. Netflix, there's Gundam Con event in 2027. April 7th is now officially recognized as Gundam Day. That was the day Gundam first aired in Japan.
When did you first watch Gundam?
At the Adelaide Anime Club at the Adelaide University campus in the city, North Terrace. They did Gundam Wing back in the day. The beautiful Bishonen boys piloting the Gundams.
There you go.
Yeah. So Gundam Wing was an entry for many Westerners. It was mainly the clubs you'd go to catch it. Interesting detail, Bandai Namco, the creators of and the franchise holders of Gundam, has a Chief Gundam Officer, a real executive title held by Hiroshi Sakakibara, underscoring just how strategically important the franchise is to the company. My favorite story about Gundam was the government Japanese government, decades ago, I think this happened. They did an inquiry into computer use or something. Anyway, it was revealed that a number of government officers were basically using most of their time to update the Gundam Wikipedia pages.
It's a public service.
Yeah, that's right. Soft power. All right. Well, 5 minutes left. Final story then. Final story. Quick sting. Classic.
ABC classic.
That's right. Let's get that on the ABC Hottest 100 Classic News. ABC News story: How Hollywood became a new home for classical music's grandest ideas. This article is talking about decades after Hollywood first adopted classical orchestra styles to gain cultural prestige. Symphony orchestras are now fully embracing film scores, driving a massive resurgence in live classical music attendance. This films in concerts that orchestras do features blockbusters like Star Wars, How to Train Your Dragon, and is acting as a vital gateway for new audiences to experience orchestral performances. I've had that here in Tassie, the TSO, Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra.
Yeah, they've done that.
Been to their
They've done
science fiction
video game one as well.
Yes, and so this article is all talking about it as being a new gateway.
Well, it's smart. I mean, I can see why a lot of orchestras maybe have the idea of like sort of a puritanical sort of view of like, this is classic orchestra music. It is serious stuff. But the reality is that the way that a lot of people engage with orchestra kind of music now is through movies and through video games.
John Williams,
Hans Zimmer, et cetera, and they're all, it's all orchestral things, and that's what people will go and watch.
Interestingly, there's a surprising detail in the article where it talks about Richard Wagner, the German composer, effectively invented the modern movie theatre experience in the 19th century. He built his Bayreuth Feststallhaus, my perfect German accent, with a darkened room, seats all facing one way, and an invisible orchestra in a pit, creating a prototype for cinema decades before the first film was ever made.
Yeah.
So, the article talks about actually Wagner's work being a fascinating preempting of the theatre experience, the kind of dark experience, dark room, hidden orchestra, using light motifs, recurring musical themes for characters. So we know John Williams' Jaws music, right? We re-hear that. That's a light motif. And Wagner was famous for initiating that light motif concept, which became, a blueprint for composers like John Williams. Yeah, well, I think people are keen to listen to music now.
Yeah. It's a shame we can't play Doom, but...
I know. That's right. Maybe I'll ask for a perpetual license for it. Okay.
You're doing good, lad!
Thank you. So nice way to end it. All right, well, that's been Media Mothership for another week. Keep listening to Edge Radio for cool stuff. If you want to hear previous episodes of Media Mothership, you can find us on the Edge Radio page. Just search hradio.org.au. Also, you can see videos of us on YouTube and Twitch. And next week, more great stuff.
From the world of media.
From the world of media.